Hey everyone, my name is Sam, and welcome back to another Top 10. And seeing as it's October, I don't see why we don't talk about scary games. Anyways, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Top 10.
Number 10. Sweet Home. Considered to be the first true survival horror game, Sweet Home not only created an entirely different genre, but it also improved upon the RPG. In the game, a film crew travels to the famous Mamiya Mansion, which is said to be haunted. After walking in the front door, the crew finds this to be true and must escape the mansion, while preserving the famous paintings inside. Will the crew be able to fight off the haunting monsters of the mansion? Well, I suppose that's up to you. On a side note, this was actually a licensed game made by Capcom as a tie-in to a Japanese horror film of the same name. So not only was Sweet Home a pioneer of the survival horror genre, but it was also one of the best licensed games of all time. Take that, Spider-Man 2. Number 9. Darkseid. It's always best to remember that the surreal is anchored in the real. In Darkseid, you play as a man named Mike Dawson, who has been having hellish nightmares in which his forehead opens up like female anatomy. It's your job as Mike Dawson to put an end to them, as well as an evil alien plot to destroy the world. This game was actually really hard, considering that there were dozens of no-win situations and timers. And although it was really cheesy sometimes,
what a quaint general store with a little bit of everything for day-to-day existence.
It was still horrifying. With some amazing artwork from H.R. Geiger, Darkseid is easily one of the most frightening and disturbing games to date. Hell, there's a legend that this game made the real-life Mike Dawson go insane from the pressure of designing the game. Or, maybe not. Nonetheless, Darkseid lands a spot at number 9. Number 8. Eternal Darkness. What do you get when you put survival horror, Cthulhu mythos, and fourth wall breaking elements into a video game? Well, you get Eternal Darkness. Nintendo's first M-rated first-party game definitely had some crazy scares. Sure, the music was creepy, and of course there's some unsettling locations, but when your game tells you that your memory card is corrupted, how else are you supposed to react than by crapping your pants? While the combat was clunky, and sometimes the scares weren't all they were cracked up to be, Eternal Darkness was still a great game. It's just a shame that the world will probably never see a sequel to it, because goddammit, it deserves one. Someone should kickstart... Oh. Yeah. Forgot about that. Number 7. System Shock 2. Before Irrational Games would go on to make the BioShock series, they made the fantastic sequel to System Shock. You know what's scarier than drifting through space? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. As the player, you must discover what has happened to the ship, defeat the infected crew, while also forming alliances with the evil supercomputer that got you into the mess in the first place. So the only question left is, how do you plan to survive? Will you use your trusty wrench, or go out guns blazing? Either way, you still have to deal with the whole drifting through space thing, which is just, scary. In general. Number 6. Clock Tower. Want to know how to make a game really scary? Make it so the player can't defend themselves. In Clock Tower, you play as an orphan named Jennifer that must save her friends and herself from a sadistic woman and a psycho killer armed with a giant pair of shears. Of course, there are other dangers throughout the mansion. However, the impending doom is so stress-inducing that you might actually have a heart attack while you're playing it. The fact that the only way to escape danger is to hide makes for some heart-pounding tension. Although be careful, as not all hiding places are as good as others. With all sorts of different endings, Clock Tower succeeds not only in being terrifying, but also extremely replayable. Number 5. Dead Space. The game that revitalized the survival horror genre had to be on this list somewhere. Gamers were slightly disappointed with Resident Evil 5 not being the tremendous follow-up to Resident Evil 4. Not to say that RE5 wasn't a good game, but it just wasn't what people wanted from it. However, Dead Space had everything that Resident Evil 5 wanted. Jump scares, limited ammo, space zombies, and one hell of a story. With excellent sound design and artwork that would make Satan himself clench his sphincter in fear, this game deserves its spot at number 5. All I have to say is thank you, Visceral Games, for making the survival horror game fun again. Just go and play Dead Space and crap your pants. Number 4. Outlast. In recent memory, I can remember Outlast being one of the scariest games that I have ever played. The fact that the setting is in an insane asylum already is pretty creepy, but the fact that inmates are running around trying to kill you is even more terrifying. The only thing that you can really trust is your camera, but even then it's limited to battery life. The AI isn't necessarily the best, but when they sneak up on you, it's horribly terrifying. And just because the game's in first person makes it that much scarier. But hey, if you want a new game to play, make sure you give Outlast a try. It's a blast. Number 3. Silent Hill 2. And at number 3, we have Silent Hill 2. That's right, we're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty. Silent Hill 2 is considered to be the god of psychological horror, and for good reason. Not only is the town of Silent Hill creepy as hell, but the sounds and enemies will drive you to the edge of your seat. If there is one sole reason as to why this game is so freaking scary, just look at Pyramid Head. Dear Lord, he is raping mannequins. Raping. Not only that, but his rusty blade will rip you to shreds. When Silent Hill 2 came out, it was easily the peak of the survival horror genre. However, there were others that would even surpass this masterpiece. Number 2. Resident Evil Remake. Now, I've already talked a lot about the Resident Evil Remake. About 20 minutes of it, in fact. But I'm gonna have to give it a bit more love here. What started as a remake of Sweet Home would start the huge franchise that is Resident Evil. And while the original entry is great, it's a little cheesy.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
However, with the remake, everything was improved. The sound, the script, the gameplay, and oh lordy, those graphics make me go crazy. The puzzles were great, the story was great, the cutscenes were great, and goddammit, this is one of the best games ever made. One of the greatest additions to the game were the Crimson Heads that spawned from the zombies that weren't taken care of after you killed them. One swipe from those claws and bam, you are dead. Also, they really don't need to make a remake of this game. Come on, Capcom, get it together, man. This remake is fantastic indeed, but it just wasn't quite scary enough to make number 1. Now, before we take a look at number 1, let's have a quick recap. At number 10, we have Sweet Home. At number 9, Dark Seed. Number 8, Eternal Darkness. Number 7, System Shock 2. Number 6, Clock Tower. At number 5, it's Dead Space. Number 4 was Outlast. Number 3, Silent Hill 2. And number 2, the Resident Evil Remake. Number 1. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. If there's one thing that I've learned from Clock Tower, it's that hiding from enemies has got to be one of the scariest things ever. And that brings us to our number 1 entry. While Amnesia would never see the light of day on a console, it would continue to scare the crap out of PC players everywhere. Sam, why didn't you put Outlast at the top? They're like the exact same game. The reason Outlast is not here is because I consider Amnesia to be a huge influence on Outlast. Amnesia is one of the most horrifying games I've played. If waking up with Amnesia, in a creepy Prussian castle in the middle of a storm with monsters chasing you that slowly drive you to the brink of insanity isn't scary to you, then I don't know what is. As the protagonist Daniel, you must make your way down to the depths of the castle to slowly recover your memory, all the while avoiding monsters that are trying to kill you. Be careful, as the puzzles can be devilishly hard, and your lantern only has so much light until it starts to go out. There is a sequel to Amnesia subtitled A Machine for Pigs, which is okay in its own right, but I would highly recommend the original over the sequel. All in all, there are many reasons that make Amnesia a scary game, but I'd rather you go figure that out for yourself. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching my top 10 scary Halloween list. If you like, subscribe, do, whatever. The YouTube, the socials, I don't even know, man. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you disagree with me, I would like to hear, put it in the comments, do it, whatever. I actually read those, by the way. And, yeah. Anyways, you guys have a great day.